Compounded interest, example 2. Suppose that $37,700 is invested in a certificate of deposit for 3 years at 5.1% annual interest to be compounded daily. How much interest will this investment earn? Round your answer to the nearest cent. If necessary, note that 365 days is a year and 30 days in a month. So you may know that 365 days is not exact. A year has 365 and a quarter days, and that's why every 4 years we do that leap day. After 4 years, those have added up to 1 whole day. But for the sake of our math here, that is why they gave us that note. We are going to count a year as being 365 days long. If you haven't seen it yet, there is a special formula for compound interest. There are special words that tell you how many times something is compounded in a year. And then because this is not asking for the total value, the total amount after so many years, we need that other formula that tells us how to find interest based on the total amount. So I'm going to turn the page, and if you haven't done so yet, please write these formulas down. Your compound interest formula, your words that mean specific numbers of times a year, and then how to find interest once you've found your amount. If you need to, go ahead and pause right now. I've transferred our information over, our compound interest formula, and those coded words over there that have specific meaning for times a year. Let's pull our information out of the problem. Suppose that a $37,700 is invested in the certificate of deposit. That's how much money you're putting in. That is your principal. So $37,700 is going to be our P. Rate is your percent. So let's find the percent. It's deposited for 3 years at 5.1%. We don't use percent in math. We change that value to its decimal form. We do that by finding where the decimal is and moving it 2 places to the left. This movement, this first place, is filled by the 5, but the second place has nothing there, so to hold that place, I insert a 0. So the rate is 0.051. N is the number of times in 1 year that this gets compounded, and that's where we look at our chart here. So it is invested in a certificate of deposit for 3 years at 5.1 annual interest to be compounded daily. And that's not in our list here because it's right here. If it's compounded daily, that's 365. So I'm going to add that. I don't know why they didn't just give those in our list. This list came from your Learn section of Hawks. So we're using compounded daily. That is 365, number of times a year. And then T stands for how many years, and ours is deposited for 3 years. So T is 3. Let's take this information and put it in our formula. We're going to find the amount first, and then we're going to take that amount and use it to find the interest. This question is not asking for the total amount. It's asking for the total interest earned. So P, 37,700. I am not writing the comma when I do my math work. That helps me avoid the mistake of thinking that's a decimal. Times 1 plus the rate is 0.051 over N, 365. Raised to the power 365 times 3. The number of times a year times the number of years. we've got some work to do. We want to keep this simple for ourselves, so we're going to use a calculator. And we've done this before. When we get long numbers, we hold them in the calculator. So order of operations says do inside parentheses. We have two operators. We have this division and this addition. Division is always first, so I'm going to bring up my calculator. Top number, divide button, bottom number. 0.051 divide 365. So notice I do have this strange number. I'm just going to hold it in there. I'm going to make myself a note. That to the -4 power actually means the decimal is this way even more, but I'm going to just put 1.39 with some little dots, e to the -4. And then we have the 365 times. Okay, so holding that funky number in my calculator, and now I need to add 1 to it. So I'm going to keep that in there and put +1. Notice the e to the -4 is gone. Since I've added a whole number of 1, it would be. I am going to do the same thing. I'm not going to get rid of this. I'm going to hold that in my calculator and write down what I have in case there's an error. I can double check my work later to see if I can find that error. 1 point, I think we had a lot of zeros on there. 0, 0, 0. Dots to show it's going on forever. And then we have this 365 times 3. Now I need to clear my calculator. I can't do this in here with that there. So 365 times 3. 1095. Alrighty, so it's time to raise that crazy number to this power. But remember, I just cleared my calculator. So I'm going to put it back in, starting from that beginning. 0.051 divide by 365 equals, notice I had my e to the -4, +1 equals. That's that crazy number that was here. Now I'm going to use my X to the Y button. That caret appears, which means it knows I'm about to raise it to a power. Since this is one number, I don't have to use parentheses like I had to on the problems that had fractions up there. So here's our new number that goes inside there. I'm going to keep it in my calculator. I'm going to write down in here 1.1653. Just for my records, 1.1653 with a little dot telling myself that that is going on forever. That 1095 is not there. That's how I got this. I raised this to that power. Write down the 37700. Now we're there. We kept that number in our calculator. We don't round until the end. That's why I keep saying hold those numbers in the calculator. If you round every time there's a large number, you will end up with an answer that is slightly off at the end. So we take that number, we multiply now times 37,700 equals. This is my final answer. Now I round. The second place after the decimal is your cent place. So there's the first place after the decimal, that 2. The 8 is the second place after the decimal. Rounding says I look to the right, so this 2 here on the right of the 8. If this number is 5 or more, I would add 1 to the 8 and drop everything. If this number to the right is less than 5, I don't add anything to the 8 and I still drop everything. So my answer is 43,932.28. 43,000. I already lost it. 930. 43932.38. Okay, this is our answer to the question, what is the total amount we earned? However, it is not the answer to the question they asked us. Remember, a minute ago we paused and wrote all three of these down. We are now ready to use this. We find our interest by taking the total amount and subtracting the original principal. So, let's do it. Interest equals total amount, $43,932.28, minus my original principal, $37,728 minus $37,700. $6,232.28. Okay, so our total interest earned after 3 years was that $6,232.28.